Hey everybody, Torsar here with another sports talk video, and before I even get started on anything, I'd just like to say, what happened? What happened, guys? Never seen anything like that, man. But either way, at first I wasn't gonna make a video today because, it's not like there's not anything going on in sports, some head coaching, offensive coordinator hires in the NFL. As long as the NFL's going on, there's always going to be something to talk about. NBA's past the halfway point. There's some stuff going on, but nothing that's really like, oh, I have to talk about that. But then I got home and I remembered what today is. The 3-year anniversary of Kobe Bean Bryant's death. The last time the world was cool. And I mean that to say, everything after that, it seemed to go downhill. Of course, we knew, you know, the the COVID was already out there, but we didn't yet know what it was. And there was still problems with social media and cancel culture, and people have always been being mean to each other, but I'll just always look back at that as the marker of when just things really started to go downhill. Anyone, especially someone my age, was around the same age as Kobe, so you kind of grew up with the guy, you couldn't even help it. You developed kind of a parasocial relationship with him where he, of course, didn't know most of us, but you felt like you knew him so well. I'm not even a Lakers fan. I've never been a Lakers fan, and I'll even debate harshly to this day that he's just not a top 10 player of all time. But that doesn't mean I didn't cry for days when he died. The first day it was like when it really hit me, oh my God, and then there'd be points throughout the days after that, for maybe a week where you just stop and think about it, and it was just sometimes you just know that there's so many people out there that are hurting that kind of affects you, when you saw those Laker fans so upset. But anyway, this really wasn't going to be about that. I wanted to make this video in memory of him. Like I said, I wasn't going to make a video today, but now let's do one about the NBA. We're just past the midseason. I want to quickly go over the standings, who you think are the contenders. So let's look at it real quick. Now, I think this breaks up pretty interestingly between the two conferences, right? Because you have the Eastern Conference. Now, look at the top 4. And I'll even give credence to Brooklyn. I hate doing it. But this year, you know what? If KD can come back and he has enough time to come back and get back in good basketball shape, and we're always saying that about these guys, I really hope they can stay healthy. But I do think, and I'll get to that, it's going to be a little bit different from the Clippers in the West. But can you really see anyone outside the top 4 really having a legitimate chance at going deep in the playoffs or, winning the title? Cleveland, I just think they need, they need one more decent piece. Adding the Spider, Donovan Mitchell, that was a step in the right direction. They're a really good young team, but I just don't think that they're there yet. And after that, the Miami Heat, they're just recycling the same roster, just trying to recapture the bubble magic. I think they're the team that benefited from the bubble, not the Lakers. The Lakers were the best team all year. They're the ones who lost home court advantage. And after that, it's just the dregs of the Eastern Conference. Boston can probably make the case for being the favorite. They look like they're just right back on track despite the coaching change. Philly's always dangerous with Joel Embiid. And of course, Milwaukee, with Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton, and company. If Chris Middleton can stay healthy this year, you'd hope to see, maybe another Boston, Milwaukee. But it's really just these four teams, and Brooklyn with the caveat that KD can stay healthy. And these are all, been knocking on the door for 4 or 5 years now. Been knocking on the door for 4 or 5 years now. Have knocked on the door and busted it down for 4 or 5 years now. As soon as they got KD and Kyrie, however you might want to feel about them, if they stay healthy and play together, they are a dangerous team. I hate to even say it because I can't stand those two. I don't think they're very nice people at all. Maybe Kyrie is off the court. I don't know. But they're just so KD is just so unsociable, and Kyrie is just so pretentious. And I'm sorry, but you can try to keep it cut and dry, but I'll say it once, I've said it again. We now live in a likatocracy. People that are liked can often go farther than people who are competent. If you have this people that are around the same, the guy who's liked is going to do better, even though he's less competent than that guy who's maybe, a little bit more skillful, but is a jerk. The person who's liked is always going to do better. That's why I've been trying to work on my agreeability, because I think that's a skill that I can lack in sometimes. So it's just really hard to like them, but either way, maybe that'll change around. Winning cures everything. Now you go over to the West, and it's just a completely different story. All the old, contenders that have been knocking on the door, they're now, where are they? Now you could say Denver, but, with Jamal Murray getting hurt, they've been, Jokic has been winning the MVP, but I think that's kind of added to it. And they were last year, the 6th seed. They haven't really, I guess this is returning to form from before Jamal Murray got hurt. But was anyone really picking Denver to be that 1 seed? And right now, would you say, oh yeah, it's definitely going to be Denver. Denver's going to make the NBA Finals to represent the Western Conference. I think most people, if you said choose between Denver and Golden State right now, they would say Golden State. And look at where Golden State is. They're just barely hanging in there at 500. You keep waiting for them to get up there and turn it around. And then even you got a team like the Clippers. And I think they're a different story from Kyrie and KD, because I don't know. I don't get why Paul George and Kawhi Leonard aren't playing sometimes. It almost seems like they get injuries because they're not playing enough. And then the New Orleans Pelicans with Zion always being in and out. The Sacramento Kings are 3rd in the West. How did that happen? Now they're kind of like, the Cleveland Cavaliers of the West, but 3rd? And you look, right, it's pretty much Denver and Memphis right now. And Memphis might be that team if you're not going to pick a Golden State. I think the next team people would probably pick is Memphis. And you see there's a clear gap. But from 3 to 10, there's only a 4-game spread. Right? So that leaves a lot of room for a team like the Suns. What happened to them? I know Chris Paul, Devin Booker, some of the guys, they haven't been healthy. You would think that they could get it back together and maybe get up in there, because obviously now in the NBA, this is where the 6th seed, that's where you're guaranteed a spot now. These 4, they're not guaranteed a spot. You have to play in the play-in, which I can't stand that, but hey, it's going to get them more money, so the NBA is just going to do it. They got the idea from baseball. I don't like it. I hate it even more in baseball, at least in basketball. 1 game, it's 5-on-5 with your benches. It's more even. In baseball, the pitchers just might line up badly, and just one guy has an amazing night, and he's just an average pitcher, and your star pitcher doesn't play well, and then now you're down 0-1, and you only have pretty much, if the team wins the next game, you're done. And sorry guys. And then if they're playing their star pitcher the next game and he pitches good, anyway, you guys get the gist of that. But I mean, you get Golden State. They're I mean, no one thinks that they're not going to get it together, but right now they're hovering right on that danger line. And then I think the biggest question is, can the Los Angeles Lakers start to do something now that Anthony Davis is back? And you see, there's still, I said there's a 4-game spread. Well, if you go all the way down to Los Angeles, this is where it really cuts off. Now, San Antonio and Houston, they have no chance. They're awful. But look at this. From 3 at Sacramento to Los Angeles, all the way down in what, 11, 12, 13th? That's only a 5-game spread. And it's kind of disappointing to look back at all the games they just barely blew this year. They should probably be 26 and 23, which that would have them tied for the Pelicans right now in the 4th seed. And that's only, there's probably more than 3 games where you could look back this year and say, man, they really should have won that game. And then you combine that with all the time AD missed. It's just disappointing. I still think they can get it together. Can they contend? I don't know. A lot of people are picking Russ for the 6th man this year, so he's can't be the issue, right? LeBron James is just playing out of his mind. I don't think that's something where he's just like, all right, I just want to get this scoring thing out of the way as fast as possible. I just want to catch Kareem and pass him. I mean, he's just having an amazing stretch. Anything after that, I mean, Luka with Dallas, it's, he's always dangerous, but they just don't seem to have enough help. I can't really see anyone. I mean, Portland Trailblazers just seem to be treading water as usual. I don't know. The West is it's just completely different than the East, though, where it's like you have these top 4 power teams, maybe Cleveland if you want to throw them in there too. And then after that, it's just, it starts getting lesser and lesser. You see if you take the same thing that you did in the West from 3 down, well, from 3 at Milwaukee down to 13, that's a 12-game spread. Whereas in the West, it's a 5-game spread. And again, you have all the top teams front-loaded, up at the top of the standings. And in the West, what people would call the top teams, they're just all over the place. But, we're just past the halfway point. All-Star game is still coming up, which people kind of look at that as the true halfway point, even though, statistically we're already past it. Either way, let me know what you guys think. How's your favorite team doing? Do you think they're going to make it? The Nets, the Clippers, the Lakers, the usual suspects, the Warriors, the Celtics. Finals rematch? We'll see. Either way, till the next one, stay healthy. Peace.